We just got a huge update coming to College Football 26, which includes a new game mode and Ultimate Team, and a lot of changes to gameplay, specifically the pass rush and defense, as well as nerfing some of the glitchiest cheese in the game. So if you guys want to learn more, stick around after the intro. If you guys need fast, cheap, reliable coins for your Ultimate Team, check out my coin sponsors at MMOXP.com and use discount code MONEYSHOT for 6% off your order. Link in the description below. The champ is here! Welcome back, Money Team. This is Madden Money Shot, sniffing out the college cheese as always. In today's video, we got a brand new update coming to College Football 26 tomorrow, as EA made it a habit this year to put out their patch notes before the actual update comes out to the game. So even though I'm making this video on October 1st, the update will be coming out tomorrow on October 2nd. I'm going to give you guys all the news about what's going to change. But before I do, as always, if you guys want to see more videos like this, please make sure to be a subscriber, hit the like button, let me know in the comment section. Oh, that's let's go right into the video. Now, the majority of this intro comes off kind of like an advertisement for Ultimate Team, and I do want to go over that, but I'll go over that a little bit later, as I first want to go over some things that affect the entire game itself, as there's a lot of changes to gameplay that might be more important depending on what game mode you actually play. So we're going to start off with the gameplay updates, as there's quite a few things here that they recently updated in Madden. So if you play both games, you might recognize some of these. But the first one, when it comes to the passing game, is that they're going to be changing the route stem logic, which is something that they did in Madden already, because a lot of people were basically custom stemming corner routes and making them very difficult to stop against, pretty much any man or zone. Well, here they're going to do that again, where they update the route stem to only be able to go to 3 yards minimum, which is something that they did in Madden. I think the previous minimum was 1 yard. Now it's going to be 3. It says, dev note, this change enables defensive backs to read and react more realistically, creating a better balance between offense and defense by preserving the original route's design's integrity. It enhances the authenticity of the gameplay experience and promotes a balanced dynamic between offense and defense. I mean, I know I never really used the stem down corner route personally. I know that when something's too broken, they're going to fix it, and I don't want to become reliable on it, because people that do that typically shoot themselves in the foot when it goes away, as they're unable to adapt once they take away this really cheesy stuff. Now, another thing that they added to Madden that was actually kind of weird, because they made a previous adjustment in College Football First where they put in the coaching adjustments on offense that you could basically turn off the base protection. Well, about a month later, whenever they did that update to Madden, they actually added the ability to turn it from base to empty to half to full. You can basically choose what preset blocking you wanted in your offensive coaching adjustments. Well, now they're doing that in college football as well. So I guess when they first did it in college football, when they added the ability to just turn off your automatic slide protection and just set the base every single time, I guess a lot of people realize, and I've said this in my channel, that I think that the best way to go is actually to set your default to empty, which would still be an adjustment you'd have to make when you came out of the huddle. So they now changed that. So now you have the ability in college. If you don't play Madden, you wouldn't necessarily know that this feature is already in Madden, which is probably a first that they put something in Madden before they put it in college. But now you can set your slider, or you set your offensive coaching adjustment to anything you want. You got default, base, empty, half slide, full slide, you name it, you can choose it. I recommend personally, from experience, using empty, because that picks up stunts and twists better than just about anything else. So they also says here that they fixed an issue where an unintentional bad snap would fly past. Some of these are kind of random, where a bad snap would fly past the quarterback, resulting in a fumble when running pistol spread jet touch pass. It says fixed an issue where sometimes throwing the bubble route on single back bunch TE alert bubble would result in a fumble because the receiver could not make the catch on a backwards pass. Now, the last part of this also has a lot to do with blocking, where it says running back blocking improvements. Running backs now handle the tech stunt more effectively when using a half slide protection. So if somebody's beating you with the Texas stunt, which is the Texas 4-man stunts, half slide might be better to use, but I still think that empty is probably the better way to go. But they are kind of giving you a hint here that running backs will pick it up more effectively with this particular half slide protection. Now, in the blocking section, they also go over a lot of stuff when it comes to the pass rush, as they really make it sound like they're gonna basically buff pass rush in general, which I don't think college football necessarily needs. I think there's a lot of pass rush already, a lot of natural pass rush already. So basically they start off here by saying fix an issue where pass rushers weren't able to consistently trigger pass rush moves and would just remain in a blocking loop, which I kind of understand that's annoying as a defensive player, that you want your guys to try to get off blocks. But like I said, I've noticed that, you know, when I play college football, it seems like people are getting off their blocks just fine. It also says tuning to allow defenders to attempt pass rush moves more frequently on each play. So now they're going to be trying more harder to get shed attempts, which is cool. That's fine by me. But the next one here I got a little bit of an issue with, which says tuning to increase the defender's super win chance for pass rushers with equally or slightly lower ratings than the blocker. So what that means is now, and I got a dev note here explaining it a little bit further, where it says previously pass rushers would only get super win outcomes when rated higher than their blocker. Now we've increased the range to allow more super win outcomes when rated slightly worse than their blocker to increase the pass rush effectiveness globally. So now you're going to be getting more sheds, and you're going to be getting these players that are rated lower than the lineman that they're facing. Not dramatically lower, you would think. Maybe like if you're facing a 90 overall lineman, maybe if they're like an 89 or an 80 overall lineman or something like that. But you're going to be seeing much more super wins. And what a super win is basically when a guy just like bull rushes a guy and just knocks him over, or just gets like instant pressure, which is not something that you really want to face as an offensive player. So you're going to have to be on the lookout for that. But it basically sounds like with those two things that they're really upping the pass rush, or the natural pass rush that you're going to get from higher or highly rated players. Now it also says tuning to increase the bull rush / push of the blocker towards the center of the pocket to increase natural pocket degradation. Once again, a lot of this is really pointing towards the pass rush amping up. And then it also says fix an issue where offensive blockers were too far downfield setting blocks on gun bunt, strong, nasty, motion double pass, resulting in offensive pass interference being called. That does happen a lot. I thought that was on purpose that they had this, because it happens in Madden too, where somebody will just randomly run a double pass on me, and it's a penalty every single time, which I'm actually grateful for, because I think that's really cheesy. The fact that double passes work every single time against zone, I think that's just kind of, but whatever. But it sounds like that was not intentional, and they fixed that. Now it also says address an issue where the offensive line was failing to pick up the 3-4 tight saw blitz 0, allowing a blitzing middle linebacker to come through the A gap untouched. We have QB contain logic, which is another thing that once again they did try to increase in Madden. They did try to fix, and a lot of this sounds pretty familiar. It says QB contain versus play action. On play action plays, contained defenders will no longer use the surf technique, which limited their ability to set the edge effectively. It says contained logic improvement on normal pass plays. Contained defenders will no longer abort their contain assignments prematurely while the quarterback is still a scramble threat. It says dev note, this enhancement to QB contain allows defenders to disengage from blocks more responsively and at more appropriate times, enabling them to make smarter pursuit angles. As a result, they're better equipped to maintain outside leverage and effectively contain mobile quarterbacks, reducing the likelihood of extended scrambles. Now, this is something that, like I said, that was also focused in Madden. I find that what they really did there was they turned your pass rush off of used QB contains, where I showed in a video previously that they're basically just going to hold the shoulder of their tackle and wait for the quarterback to run outside of them. That's pretty much how that works. Now it says fix an issue when defenders in QB contain were not appropriately steering themselves into appropriate position to be able to effectively set the edge. Basically the same thing. So like I said, they're going to be holding the shoulder and just standing outside waiting for the quarterback to leave the pocket, which to me basically turns your edge defender's pass rush ability off, although the defensive tackles will still rush the passer when you set those QB contains. But that's just my take on it. I know everybody's got a different take on it. Now it says running game. Address an issue where the running back's initial move was not appropriately sending him up the field at the snap on gun tight slot open halfback direct snap. Fix an issue where users were unable to hand the ball off when running inside veer plays to the left. Those sound like somewhat small specific fixes. We also have a coverage adjustment here. Now, this one here is kind of important because this is something that's in a coaching adjustment that hasn't been working right all year, and I hope they bring this to Madden, where it says coaching adjustment, RPO defense. When users set their RPO pass play key coach adjustment to conservative, which means to focus on the actual pass, not the run, it says defenders will now cover the seams and the flats instead of playing their run fit assignments, which is really the whole idea of that in the first place. It says zone defenders now react more reliably to RPO passes coaching adjustments are applied. This is something that they put in the game. It's a new function where they put it in the beginning of the year, where if you choose to follow the actual bubble screen, they're supposed to follow the bubble screen. They weren't doing that. Now it says post-play, fix an issue where the ball would teleport and float during the bowling celebration after scoring a touchdown. Kind of small. We have a lot of presentation updates here too, especially when it comes to new uniforms available. I'm not necessarily going to go over them all, but I'll have them on screen. I do see they have the Texas Tech Mahomes white uniform and the Texas Tech throwback uniforms, which look pretty cool. But it says and more at the bottom. So it says check out all the new uniform pieces in the game. So maybe they're not showing us everything, but lots of new uniforms. And also have 3 new equipment pieces here: Nike Vapor Pros 1, Nike Vapor Speed 3s, and the Nike LeBron Menaces here. After that, like I said, the half of the article here is really talking about a new mode in Ultimate Team, where it's basically, like I said, it comes across kind of like an advertisement because they tell you everything about it. And I know they're always trying to push Ultimate Team, but basically they said they got a new head-to-head ranked, which is something that they're going to be doing once this update drops. And then they talk about the rewards. They're going to have 8 different tiers. From bronze, silver, gold, elite, hero, champ, and top 100, and based off of where you rank up at the end of that, you're going to get any number of rewards. If you get 5,000 coins at the end of every game, every win, I should say, not every game, but which is pretty good. But if you're in the bronze tier, you can get anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000, all the way up to 100,000 in the top 100, which is obviously a lot. And then it also says on the first of the month, if you participate in the head-to-head ranked, you'll also get a player that kind of corresponds with that. They're talking. It says the more details can be found below. It says Kendall Daniels, 6'5" safety. And depending on where you get, if you're bronze, you're going to get an 83 overall bound, and if you're a top 100, you're getting a 92 overall bound Kendall Daniels, which is obviously, has a lot of, it looks like you got a lot of AP discounts and stuff like that. So he's going to be an absolute beast, and you're also going to get 250,000 coins, which is also something that they add. So definitely giving some good incentive. I hope they do that in MUT as well. So I'm going to end the video there. But if you guys want to see more, make sure to be a subscriber. And other than that, thanks for watching, man. My shit out. Need more help or just want to show your support? Then head over to my Patreon and join my team, where you can get exclusive content like ebooks and bonus plays, as well as early access to my vids and more. Link in the description below.